lot of people that in that house are doing. You probably have seen that just great news, great news. This country couldn't get any better. New Zealand closed its borders, closed its airports, closed its ports, said nobody can come in, everybody who comes in has to isolate. And now strict isolation, they were forcing it very strictly over there. You wouldn't just walk in and say, I'm cherry picking, or daisy picking, whatever. You could really get in saying daisy picking in this country. So half of the people who comes into Ireland now, from any Tom, Dick and Harry's country, they don't get checked at all. They don't even they fill in the booklet saying, I'm staying in Tim O'Neill's house down in Carrickmacross, or bloody down in Fermanagh or Hereford. They just walk in and just don't fill it in. They just give them the booklet and the file in the bin. So it's just a use. Like, we have, honest to God, what, like, Leo Falk elected himself. He wasn't elected, like, and nobody wanted him as Taoiseach. He got it very hard to get in his own constituency, which looked terrible for a Taoiseach. And it's the first time in history of the state a Taoiseach didn't top the poll in his own constituency. So that looked terrible. And it's just like they won't close any borders. They're too afraid of percent EU, and they're too afraid of this, that, and the other. And you see with New Zealand. New Zealand's the perfect example. Same with Australia. I tried to post a letter to somebody that's in my family to Australia, an Easter card, and I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't allowed to. They wouldn't let a post to go into Australia. They wouldn't let it. They wouldn't let it. And I was told they wouldn't let it. And I got on to the Australian embassy, and they said we wouldn't allow it. We won't allow it. And so that's that. That's how extreme it was. That's how extreme they were in not letting anybody any letters in. They wouldn't let people in no letters, and it's just that's the right way to have it. That's how they contain the virus, because they went extremely balls deep, and they the Australian, New Zealand have have got it recovered basically, and are fully functioning again. And that's because they closed the borders and ports. But now Elaine Falk was like, oh, sure, look, good lads, let's just open the ports. Nobody, like, they probably would say it just randomly turned up in some part of Ireland and nobody brought it into the country. Like, that's the type of crack they come out with in this country. It's nothing to do with us. If we left the ports open, if we let everybody come in from the whole world, it still wouldn't have come to Ireland. It happened in Ireland. It didn't come on any boat, it didn't come on any plane, it was just in Ireland. Like, it's just total crack. Like, half of the people, like, they don't even know. These people who coming in don't probably even, these cherry pickers that came in from Bulgaria, that's just the perfect example of the government that just don't give a damn. Like, they whinging and quipping and crying if somebody goes a kilometre down the road out of 5 kilometres. And I know this for a fact. And then the rest of people for fishing. And then somebody comes in from God knows Timbuktu, and they're just like, we don't have a problem. They came 100 million miles away from their country, but we don't have a problem. They're going to go around the country in the tourist experts. We don't have a problem. They're not from Ireland. We don't have a problem. They can stay in Ireland. We don't have a problem with that. But the only problem we have is that Irish people are going a kilometre outside where they're supposed to be going. And these cherry pickers, like, my Christ, I honestly never seen a government contradict itself so badly. And, they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Like, the government won't speak about that now, because that is shameful that somebody's seen them. And they went, and people were outraged with it. Like, it's this, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Like, if they wanted to bring in 100, like, there was no social distancing. There was no social distancing, and them people coming in cherry picking from Bulgaria. There was no social, they were all in a big group, and they were all in the plane. There's no social distancing at all. That's what we have to deal with. That's what this country we're dealing with. It's just mad. And say somebody, like, I know even myself, there was a case down the country. A man went into the shop, and then it was a small local shop, and a man went in, and a woman went in. She shouldn't have. Obviously there was only one customer, at a time, and the guards went in and arrested the man, brought him to the station and everything. Like, and this, because the way they kind of phrased and the way they said it, that he went in purposely, and that's what we're dealing with in this country. But thankfully the man was just released. Thankfully they released him because they knew the mistake they made, because it was the biggest stupid, like, some things, like, sometimes the girls just arrest people for stupid things, and I wouldn't mind if I went out, if some person went out from God knows Timbuktu or somewhere like that, and went out and broke every window in Roscommon, let's just take for example, every house in Roscommon, they broke every window in it. The guards will come out and just give him a pat on the back and give him a medal. And then somebody goes out just down the road for a pound of milk or a pound of meat or something like that, they get absolutely wobble stopped. Like the man was west for fishing. Like what happened was he doing? These people from Bulgaria, they should have been like there was not one gal there stopping them. Nobody stepped boo to them. It was funny how the gals wouldn't around then when there was about 100 and something coming in, and then as soon as somebody goes out fishing, they have to nag them around. It's just typical. It's just typical. But it's the same with everything. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But this country just likes this government just likes it's playing the sea. If you want to stop the spread of COVID-19, obviously the Irish people they're done with honest to God, the Irish people are done extremely well. They gift up lots of stuff. Lots of people give up seeing their families. Some even nurses give up seeing their children and everything because they wanted to save lives. They gift up so much, and the government is just like it's the people of Ireland that's not listening to us, and they're not listening to us. And that's as simple as that, because the only reason why, it's a very simple explanation. Like New Zealand is a thing, like the New Zealand Prime Minister even said Ireland's very slow. Like she's probably more or less saying, you're an island, you're the same as New Zealand and Australia, we're an island, we have the advantage. If you close the ports, close the airports, even just have people force isolate for 2 weeks, there's no problem. There's no problem, it's going to be done. It's going to be gone. Like that's what we need. If people get, at least if they come into the country and they were forced the quarantine for 2 weeks. That's what happened in New Zealand. They were forced. They wouldn't give them the option. They were told if you don't go into quarantine, we send you on the plane back home. Which is proper order. And they only allowed their own citizens back. I think that was Australia I'm talking. But yeah, they have a bit of a brain. They're like, we are an island. We have the advantage. Let's take that advantage. Like Germany and France, obviously they have land borders and things like that. That's a lot more difficult to control than obviously a port and an airport. Very easy. Like I'm sure the countries would absolutely love to have an island where they could control it better. But in this country we just couldn't. It's not the people of Ireland. I'm not blaming the people of Ireland. I'm blaming the government. Like my God, it's a simple solution. It wouldn't it's in Ireland at the moment. We just have to contain it, But we could stop it from coming in even more. Because there's probably more cases coming. There's more people coming in. Half of the people who came into Ireland, God knows how many that is. And they're still walking around that could have it. And simple as that. I might as well be honest with people, they could have it. It's just no, it's just you honestly just have to question where in the name of God this government think they're living. They must think they're living on planet Venus or something. Because they seem like they're just so, I don't know. I honestly trying to figure out. We're an island. If I was the Taoiseach, I wouldn't give a damn what the European Union take. I'd take control. I'd be like, I couldn't give a damn about this. But yeah, it seems like Leo Varadkar's just terrified to even do boo-ah without the European Union saying anything. And then the European Union, I blame the European Union too for not saying to every country, let's just revoke that article saying, everybody close their borders immediately. But no, let's keep them open. Let's keep them open, sure. This is not racist at all, just to say, because people would start shouting racist, but New Zealand and Australia is the perfect example. That's how they contained it. That's how they did it. Because then they only had the people in their country to worry about. And then they contained it. New Zealand has 4 point something people, they say roughly the same size as Ireland. And they contained it. They got it. There's a few cases now and again there, but it's nothing like Ireland. Ireland has, God knows, nearly 36,000 cases. God knows, God forbid how many people have died because of this. Over 1,000, nearly 500 have died because of this coronavirus. And it could have not been avoided. But no, we didn't take the advantage. And that's the simplest that. We didn't take the advantage. We were given an advantage, but we didn't take it. And we still have the option to take it. Of course we still have the option to take it, but the government decide otherwise. But anyway, just to say, because people will start calling me racist and this, that, it's not being wasted. Australia and New Zealand, they have the perfect idea. They knew what they were doing. They got up on the right side of the bed. They knew what they were doing. They were ready for it. Ireland stood back and the government in Ireland just stood back and looked at it come across Europe and just were like, oh, no need to. I even remember Dr. Houlihan, the chief medical officer. I still even say this. They said this, even the county councillors, that he said there's no need for checks on the airports. There'd be only a few cases in Ireland. Well, that hit them so hard. That hit them back so hard. A few cases, a few isolated cases. You have to wonder. You have to wonder. A few, like I wouldn't mind if it was a few. Like say it was only 100. That's a few, and we could contain it. But no, this is going to keep going and going and going until we get a solution. But anyway, take care, everybody. Be safe, and that's just my rat over. So please just forgive me if I did rat on for a while. Bye.